each reactor needs 1 million gallons a minute. Or no, they're going to cool it with liquid lead. That's right. Or liquid sodium. That's right. And if there's an accident and it loses its coolant, you're going to have, 100 tons of plutonium, 10 pounds as critical mass. I mean, that's what you do when you get a nuclear explosion, an atomic bomb. You could not just get a meltdown, but a huge nuclear explosion, the likes of which the world would never have seen before, releasing huge amounts of plutonium when only maybe 10 to the minus 9 grams is carcinogenic, totally polluting the planet, and just, it's almost beyond imagination what that means medically. These are the most dangerous, diabolical machines that man could ever develop. They did build one, I think, in Detroit, and it melted. There's a book called We Almost Lost Detroit. So things are grim indeed, and these fellows they live in fantasy land. They don't understand people or radiation biology, or they just love these machines. They love. I think some of them their reptilian midbrain has a toxic reaction to testosterone. I mean, that's only the way I can describe it.
What do you think is the relationship between the World Health Organization and their relationship with the IAEA?
Well, it's not what I think, it's what the relationship actually is. In 1957 or 59, the International Atomic Energy Agency and the World Health Organization signed a common agreement that the WHO would not be able to investigate any atomic accidents unless the IAEA gave permission. Now, the IAEA, its main task is to promote nuclear power all over the world. So, consequently, the WHO has never examined the implications medically of Chernobyl, but certainly the New York Academy of Sciences has translated 5,000 Russian medical papers, and they've found nearly 1 million people have died from Chernobyl, and that's just the beginning. People are going to continue to die over the centuries from cancer and congenital deformities and genetic disease. I mean, this is really hideous. This is the biggest medical conspiracy cover-up in the history of medicine, and these people should be tried a la Nuremberg trials.
Do you think that any of this connects to the UN in any way, or there's some relationship?
Well, they're UN agencies, the United Nations agencies, the IAEA and the World Health Organization.
So then how can we trust, quote, science consensus on anything anymore?
Well, no, wait a minute. Let's talk about global warming. The majority of meteorological scientists in the world totally agree that global warming is occurring. There is consensus, absolutely. The physicists don't know any medicine, and they live in a fantasy land of, splitting the atom and E equals mc squared and tremendous power and force. There are huge areas of science. I mean, I can't even keep up with my own area, cystic fibrosis, let alone the pediatric literature. So just because you're a scientist doesn't mean to say you know all about science.
Correct.
You know about the particular area of science you're talking about.
If consensus in the scientific realm is funded by governments and big companies and agencies that are in cahoots with each other, how do we trust consensus science in general?
Well, you can't trust those agencies. Look, you're intelligent. You've got a critical brain. You can practice critical thinking, read everything and work it out for yourself. Some is dross, some is rubbish, some is pure science. You can work that out. You can't just blindly trust anyone. You can't trust anyone. You have to use your knowledge, your wisdom, your intuition, but particularly your power of critical thinking to work it out yourself.
Asking you if you would like to say any final comments to the audience today.
Yes, my final comments in this interview are, this accident is the most grotesque catastrophe that really has ever happened on the face of the planet. It will mean epidemics of cancer, genetic disease and deformed babies probably for the rest of time, maybe in circumloculated areas in Japan, but maybe across the globe, depending upon how the accident proceeds. The air masses at the equator don't mix, so all the fallout will land in the northern hemisphere. I predict that this will mean the end of nuclear power and the end of uranium mining. I hope to God it then reflects upon nuclear weapons, because Obama is now spending $85 billion to build more new nuclear weapons. So we're in an age of nuclear psychosis, and it's time it ended. Time it ended. I commissioned a study called Carbon-Free, Nuclear-Free. By 2040, America could be carbon-free, nuclear-free, and get all its energy it needs from renewable sources. Look it up on the web. Go to IEER.org. Also, if you want more information about what I've been talking about, go to my webpage called nuclearfreeplanet.org. And maybe if you went to my homepage, helencaldicott.com, you'll find all the big books I've written. Final comment. Jefferson said, an informed democracy will behave in a responsible fashion. Inform yourselves. Take responsibility. And someone else said, the only way evil flourishes is for good people do nothing. Don't let nuclear evil flourish.
Thank you so much for being with us today, Dr. Helen Caldicott. It was a pleasure listening, learning, and talking with you. Many blessings.
Thank you very much.